Good morning. Welcome to Community Voice. I'm your host, Keith Parris. I want to thank everybody for joining us this morning. DJ Debo, Jermaine. Dude, I kind of liked it when you were.
Yep. I was just thinking the same thing.
Man,
Like,
I can't stand you.
are we supposed to thank God for this or
Yeah,
what?
man.
Healthy and everything.
I'm back, baby.
The bongo players back.
Oh, Bongo Benny back there.
Yeah, one arm Willie is no more.
He'll be back.
Not one arm with
I'm
you.
healed. I'm healed.
Yeah, I can peel my orange right. Too.
You can peel your own orange now?
Yeah, man, I was working out last week Thursday. Hurt my shoulder after.
Keith,
I
what's
came
going on
of
out the
stuff,
window, Keith?
man.
What's going on out the window?
No, I was looking at the popcorn they were eating on whatever her show is.
Oh,
Okay, because I mean, you know,
Popcorn look good.
you're not engaged.
Oh, I'm here. I'm back. All right.
I'm back.
So you la la.
Oh man, somebody was talking the other day. They said, "Man, you just like, dude, don't every now and then I just drift, just drift. Let me do a quick cleanup on aisle 6. I did call Jalen Brunson. Jason, it's Jalen Brunson. He's still short and left-handed. That hasn't changed, even though I might not get the name. That hasn't changed. You left-handed too, aren't you?
Yeah.
You still can't hoop.
Y'all can't do nothing with me. Then, now,
All right,
or moving forward.
come on with it.
I'm too old for me, man.
Come on with it.
You
See,
too old.
and it's the thing. They want you to respect the elders.
I'm
When
calling
the
you
elders
out.
get to talking
Respect
crazy.
your
No,
elders.
You know
I'm
what
calling
I'm
you out so I
saying?
can put you on your hiney.
Then they be like, oh, no, they could say whatever they wrong. You
See,
can't say whatever you want.
but this the thing, man. I want to call you out so I can put you on the hiney and tell you, I told you, boy, stay in your place. That's what I
Then when
want to
he-
do. That's
then-
what I want to do to you.
Then when you lose, you can be like, you supposed to win.
I'm old. Hey,
Yeah, you supposed to
either
be the old man.
bada bing, bada boom.
Dude,
Either way.
I pulled up in this wheelchair. You should have known what was happening.
Hey, TJ said, sportsmanship is for who?
Losers.
And loser doesn't build character. I don't care what anybody say.
A loser build character.
No, it don't, man. It might
How much character last night, man? OKC was supposed to win that game, and
Yeah,
Come on.
man.
you think?
But they
Yeah.
still a young team, though. You got to learn how to win.
Yeah.
Wait,
You know, every great player
you
had
gotta
to
learn how to put your foot
how
on their
to
neck
win. You
and
know,
take them
the
out of their
Oh.
misery.
only person that came straight to the league is really two people that came straight to the league and won championships was Magic and Tim Duncan. Everybody else,
well, that
they
was
had
set
to
up.
learn, and even then, they
You
still
gotta
had to
look
learn
where
because
Tim
they lost in the playoffs and in the finals too.
Tim didn't take over that team when he got there.
Yeah, David Robinson was there. When
Yeah,
he was
David
Yeah.
was still there.
there.
Well,
Tim
that
Duncan
was, a
was the
whole
best
setup.
player.
Yeah,
He was, but he
Yeah.
still had David Robinson.
Yeah.
But he was
Right.
still the
That's a
best
Hall of
player.
He could be, but if they Hall of Famers.
You know what?
Then
This
they brought in what, Tony Parker?
Did they
Tony
see
Parker.
did they see the finals before Tim Duncan?
Yeah, didn't they
No,
win
they did
one?
not.
Didn't they win
no,
one?
No, they didn't.
no. They didn't see the finals before 10. But
Okay.
but look at this though. Don't this sound eerie? Don't this sound real familiar to what's happening now? If Giannis go to San Antonio and you put Giannis with Wimby,
I don't think they're gonna be able to afford him.
well, they would have to trade.
They're gonna have to give up something.
They would have to trade those 2 draft picks and a player.
Man, I listened to Carmelo Anthony
Yeah,
yesterday,
I listened to that too.
and
What'd
he
he say?
just pointed out, said, man,
Yeah, do
you
he need to
build
stay?
around.
Yep.
There's nowhere he can go that it's not gonna be a fit. Nowhere he goes.
I don't believe that because if you go to San Antonio, you have a stretch 5 who can shoot. Wimby can shoot, so he ain't gonna clog up the lane.
Let me
for
ask you a
Giannis.
question though. When you're used to the offense basically running through you,
Yeah.
do you go somewhere where they already got a superstar that you're gonna have to? It's kind of like what Dame went through.
They still gonna run it through.
Yeah, man, they still
Not
gonna run it
necessarily.
through. Well,
Not
no.
necessarily.
See, but listen,
Giannis is
even
the
if
top 2
yeah, man, they gonna
player
run
in
it
the
through
league.
Giannis.
That ain't nobody
Yeah,
unless
but
you
yeah.
going to Denver.
as
That
Carmelo
ball is gonna
said,
run through him.
you bring in what that man need. You build
but
around him.
San Antonio got that though.
Yeah,
San
okay,
Antonio
so is
got
he running
the-
out of time? Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, so he said he wants another championship before he retired.
Oh yeah.
Everybody does.
Well, he already got one.
Charles wanted one.
Well,
Charles wanted one.
Charles wanted one,
I
and
just
he
said
never got it
you
one.
want
Steve
that,
Nash
but
wanted
I
one and
think
never
you're
got it.
right. where do you go in? You go into a franchise where you build around them. You got to build around them.
Right.
And I don't know if you already got somebody there. It looks like San Antonio's building around
Wemby.
So I don't know where he could.
It would
See,
definitely be
but if you
Giannis
plug
team
and
if he
play,
went there.
yeah, because if you plug him in there, Wemby gonna be that stretch five because Wemby can shoot. But just imagine on the defensive end of where they go, like ranking wise, like they like top 5. Because defensively, you're not going to be able to come inside and score because you got 2 big
I
men
can
down
see
there.
Dallas because there's a couple of things that would make Dallas attractive.
They already said they're not giving that pick up.
And they ain't gonna give up that pick. So
Well,
since
I
they're
think
not giving
be
up that
very
pick,
disappointed with Cooper. That dude is not. He is not going to be a
Yeah.
superstar in the NBA.
now he might be a star, but he won't be no
won't.
So he
superstar.
better than Chet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got all of that.
Well,
Yeah, I don't see it. But hey, man,
I mean, they was talking about Houston. Houston has the money, they have the players, and they have the assets. But what I say is this: it's like Ripley's believe it or not when it comes to a Giannis trade. I gotta see it to believe it because every year they always say, "Oh, Giannis
'cause they
maybe
wanna push him out.
traded." That's the media coming up
Yeah,
with
man, they wanna
this.
push
but
You
I
know
think
what I'm
that's
saying?
every superstar. If you get to a situation where they're not as successful, and then they're gonna be like they want to look to go someplace else.
Right, but the
I think
media
Houston
is
would be
pushing that.
great for him culturally because there's such a both Houston and Dallas culturally because there's such a large Nigerian population
mhm.
Mhm.
in both those cities. So I mean, if nothing else, culturally he has that.
Now I don't know how true this is, Keith, but some of my friends were saying man, that Giannis was spotted him and his wife in New York. Now it's a lot of Greek stuff out there, but
Right.
Beauchamp is out there too,
Well,
and
in
him
the
and
past-
Beauchamp
I
that
don't
was
like
friends.
about
No.
Beauchamp.
I mean, what I'm saying is like relationship wise, him and Beauchamp was very close.
Yeah, but we don't. Marshawn's probably not gonna be with New York.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah.
right,
He's a
I mean,
contract that they
I know,
Mhm.
I know,
they
but
can
I'm saying
use.
just hanging out right now, while the
I
playoffs is
think it's
going
more,
on,
you
things like
you
that.
understand it's like a job, right?
Yeah.
In business, you look at the best opportunities.
Yeah.
I think unfortunately the Bucks has just hit some bad luck. I think they got good luck or they benefited from good luck when they won the championship.
Yeah, because
You
KD's
know?
shoe size, if it would have been
Oh man, there's a whole
size
lot of
little,
things that fell into,
smaller,
fell into place for
they
them
wouldn't have
that
made
year.
it. Yeah,
You had a Phoenix team that was really immature,
yeah.
and
Yeah,
so
the Atlanta squad that almost beat them.
Trey got hurt. Remember
Trey got
Young
hurt, yeah.
But Giannis didn't
Please.
play in that series much.
Yeah, because
got
Giannis
hurt.
got hurt too.
Yeah, he got hurt.
We would have beat them.
Man, we
without
almost lost.
Giannis.
Man, we
didn't
almost lost.
They did beat him
lose,
without
man.
Giannis.
We almost lost,
Right.
bro.
They did beat him without Giannis.
Right.
But I'm just saying, in terms of, and then I think he just played probably the best series was against New Jersey, man. I mean,
And we would have lost
No,
that.
his best
if-
series was in the final.
No, but listen,
He was playing Phoenix.
he was
man.
playing Phoenix.
What?
But listen,
We
no,
was
but when
down
they play,
0-2 in the
Yeah.
finals, that's
But
big.
but that's telling you that Phoenix, and then you knew that Phoenix team was garbage because the next year, didn't they have one of the worst collapses
Yeah.
ever in a game 7?
yeah,
So I mean,
they wasn't garbage.
that is garbage.
man, then you got
No,
Chris
they
Paul.
just
That is
had
garbage. Now, I'm
DeAndre
surprised you
Ayton.
didn't call it choking because that
Yeah.
was the biggest choke ever.
DeAndre Ayton isn't mentally tough, and that has proven
Okay.
now that's why they lost because he didn't man
And
up
there's
and
nobody.
take on the
There's
challenge.
nobody from that team that's still with them, right? Who's still with them
Booker.
from that team? Booker.
Booker,
That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
But
Everybody
that's
else
but,
gone.
but that's Phoenix's fault. And what Phoenix did wrong is what the Bucks did wrong is that they tried to do these quick fixes instead of sticking to the formula. Mind you, the Bucks was losing in the playoffs until they won. I just said earlier, you have to learn how to win. Phoenix was young. So if they would have still kept their team, they would have made some more deep
No,
runs.
but
now,
you
do
would
we
have ran
know?
out of
Wait a
time
minute.
because
They
you
were-
got.
Do we
they
know?
were
You
in the
wasn't
Western
running out of
Conference-
time.
they
They
were
was
in the
all
Western
young.
Conference,
They
bro.
were in the Western Conference Finals the next year after they were in the NBA Finals.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man,
Dude.
they were not. They were.
No, they went in the Western Conference
Yeah,
Finals
they
the
did,
next
didn't
year.
they? Yeah.
No.
I thought there was a game because they had a
No,
game
they
7.
did. No, yeah, they had a game 7, but it wasn't the Western Conference Finals. You got to
That's probably
remember
semifinal.
that Golden State was in the they end up winning the finals after the Bucks won. They didn't play the Suns in the
It was a
in
semi.
the third round.
I think it was a semi.
Yeah.
But even then, there was a young team. They wasn't running out of time because they were still all on their rookie contracts.
The problem,
They
problem that the Bucks have right now is that you have that $58 million contract.
but that's now.
Can I
we
finish?
talking-
Can I? No,
you
can
didn't
I-
let me finish.
Okay, you're right. I'll back up.
So they was all still on their rookie contracts. They was young. The potential was there.
Phoenix, right?
A couple more, Phoenix. A couple more playoff runs. They would
Didn't
have
have
went
Cam Johnson
decent.
on
Yeah.
Phoenix. Yeah.
So they just said no. We were in the finals this year. All we have to
They
do
had
is
three
get
Cams.
Kevin
Sure
Durant.
did.
Cam
All we have to
Payne.
do is get Kevin Durant,
Cam-
and then we're gonna win. And that's not the formula. That's the same thing that the Bucks did.
You-
They lose after being in the finals. They lose. They panic. They got rid of
I
the
don't
coach,
think they panicked.
and they got rid
No,
of
no.
Drew Holiday.
No,
A couple things. One, some teams are better. I don't
Yeah.
care what you do. Some
Yeah.
teams are just going to be better.
Yeah.
Two, if you look at where the Bucks were, they were an older team.
Yeah.
Things lined up for them in 21 that wasn't lining up. If you're talking about going forward now, looking at Giannis, you have a contract. Even if they want to fix it next year, they're not going to be able to fix it next year.
There's no fixing it. He's on an extension.
Well, no. Giannis have 2 years on his contract and then a
This is
player
the
option.
extension. He's on an extension
No.
now.
No,
This
I'm
is
not
the
talking about his
extension
contract.
years.
I'm talking about Damon Lillard's contract.
It's the same thing. It's
well,
the
hold on, wait a minute.
extension.
The point I'm making is he's not going to play next year.
Right.
You know, so what is that? $58 million
That's just sitting there that
you
you
can't
can't
do
use.
anything with. So how
Yeah.
do you even get the pieces?
Yeah.
And you don't even have any kind of trade
Now-
that of real value
Now, I was hearing
other
this.
than Giannis.
I don't know if this is true, but I did hear him that it was possible that the Bucks was looking to trade Dame. They can, so you can
But he
trade him.
injured now, so
I
I don't
know.
even think you could trade it.
No. You can't trade him. So
No.
you can.
I don't think you can because
think
they
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 said-
got to pass physical.
he wouldn't be able to. He wouldn't be. able to.
But who was that they got traded? That was hurt, and they knew he was. They traded him because he was hurt. What's that cat name, man? Let me look.
Why
Ain't
would-
nobody
would
got
anybody-
traded.
I know.
Why would anybody pick
think
up
it's
a
like
$58
dump.
million contract? Somebody can't even play for you.
I know, but I think that's a salary dump. They call them salary dump.
It
Yeah,
would
but
be-
that's
the
off
NBA
of
is not gonna allow you to
expiring
do it.
contracts. But even then, they had to still.
They
pass
got to
the
do
physical.
equal value in
Yeah.
the trade.
Now I do know about the physical part of it because that's what happened with the LA trade. that
Now
got rescinded.
football,
Right.
they can cut you that next. They can't cut you during the season
But
because
they
of
can cut you
injury,
off-season.
but they can release you in the off season.
And they got to do that because they have hard cap.
Yeah,
Hard salary
You
cap.
know, if you look, I think it's kind of you think about a team, and then I think what we're finding out is how difficult it is to repeat. You know that being able to come back and do it again. So I think with the
Yeah.
last repeat, Golden State, and how
I
many years
thought
ago
so.
was
yeah.
that?
Now,
That was a while
I
ago.
just asked, can you trade an injured player in the NBA? Yes, injured players can be traded in the NBA. However, trades are not finalized until the players pass a physical examination
So it's
with their new team. If the
So that's a
player
no.
fails the
It's
physical
still a
trade,
no.
the trade can be so that's still
no.
Still a no. You can trade them, but who's gonna trade for an injured
so.
player?
But is he going to take the physical that year, or is he going to
got
take it?
to.
No. I listen. So what I'm saying, just playing devil's advocate. So for this situation here with Dame, say, all right, we know he's not going to play next year because he just had surgery. So if they traded him and he's going through the rehab, and then that next year, because his contract would be up, so that next year, in order for him to re-sign with that team, can't they do that for him to take the physical after he went through the rehab?
Oh, because the players that's currently in the trade have to be doing whatever it is for that trade to become final.
Right, you got to have. I think it's like equal value. So
Like you can't
That's what
take
you
a physical
draft
next
picks,
year, but I
cash.
gotta take it today in order for it to go like that.
Well,
don't
if
make
they-
sense.
you
Because
have
what if you
people, they
fail
have
it next
they
year?
They have first round draft picks 5 years from now.
Right.
But, I mean, but it's you got to do the contracts. You got to make it fit. Now the Bucks could go out and sign somebody, but then it would put them in that different tier in terms of luxury tax.
Look at
I
one
thought
of
they
the
got
great
like $20 million to
dynasties.
spend,
Look
don't
at
they?
one of the great dynasties that people always talk about. We were just talking about them. The Spurs. Did they ever win back to back? The answer is no. Did they lose in the first round multiple times? Yes. Was there ever a time where they were talking about firing Pop or trading Tim Duncan. No, it's just about getting better. And we live now in a world where people don't grind it out. You got to get better, bro.
Yeah.
You don't always win. You know, we love Michael Jordan, but he only won 6 times, and only is, you know, pejorative. But what I'm saying is he played 15 years. He didn't win every year. He had some ups, he had some downs. Every NBA player
how
does.
they, other than that gap of the year and a half he took off, they won 3 before he took off. They won 3 once he got back. People are saying that they possibly could have won 8. That's just how good. I mean, he didn't play.
But what about before he won championships?
Of course, I agree with that. There's very few people walk in, and then when you talk about Magic,
even Magic, right?
But Magic walked into a team with Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
He
had
lost
a great
in
team.
the playoffs too, and in the finals.
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Because you got to learn. See, you have to learn how to win and lose in the playoffs. Right. You have to learn that, so you have to experience that.
That is my point.
Yeah.
So you don't always have to. Oh, we lost. Throw everybody away. We got to get new. Now, yes, you do have to get better in certain areas, but just a complete overhaul, that's just overreacting, man.
I think it's the chemistry of the team. I think it's the makeup
so
of
the
the
Bucks
team.
don't got good chemistry?
Yeah, but I'm just saying, but who's...
and they definitely had good chemistry with Drew Holiday.
I'm not saying that these things don't exist. What is not accepted sometimes is, and I'll say it again, there are better teams than you. In spite of everything you have, there are some better teams than you,
so
or you're the better
have
team.
To do? Get better.
See, but no, wait.
Get
but look
better.
at what
Play better.
But look at what Indiana did
physically and mentally.
But look at what Indiana did. Indiana really took a play out of the Bucks playbook. They got big, they got long,
we're young,
and they was young. So when the Bucks won, they was long.
But things are lining up. So let's look at it right now. And Kenny, I know I owe you lunch. Okay, let's say New York wins the series. So you have New York and you have Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
Who would win that series?
Indiana?
New York.
You crazy as a fool, man. No way, man. Listen. Let me wait. Let me tell you why.
In
Indiana
terms
will
of
win.
Their players, they had players that played in NBA Finals.
You were just talking about chemistry. My bad, but you were just talking about chemistry. This is their first year playing together, so experience. You still got to go.
That team, because the core of the team played together in college.
But you still got to go through those moments together.
What I'm saying,
and the college and NBA ain't the same. I know you not.
No. That's not what I'm saying. You talk about chemistry. Those 3 dudes have chemistry. They've been playing with each other. They know each other.
Different in the NBA. That's different.
Who's saying it's chemistry is chemistry no matter where you playing, man?
No, it ain't.
Yeah, it is.
No, it ain't.
It does make a difference.
Because people who you knew 10 years ago, and then you link back up with them 10 years later, there's some relearning and understanding that has to go on for you to have that chemistry. You just don't hop into a situation just because you knew somebody before.
You didn't hop in.
They did.
Didn't they play together last year?
No.
Who did they pick up? Wasn't Bridges there last year?
No, this year.
Okay.
Remember.
But that
Boston
tells
won
you
the championship last year.
But
and
no, I'm not talking about. But I'm saying that shows you then that there's a level we cannot argue. Well, we can. That there's not that these dudes don't know each other. It makes a difference when you play with somebody and you just because you know each other.
Who's the man now? It's Brunson. Brunson wasn't always the man in Villanova.
But let me break it down.
He wasn't even always the man in the NBA because he came from Dallas.
But let me break it down even smaller.
He's a different player now. All of them are different players now.
To Keith's point, even now with us, if we was to go to the playground and play ball, you would pick 5 people that you know you can hoop with, 5 people that you got, or 4 people that you got a relationship with, that you know can hoop, that can score the ball. And once you put that team together, you saying to yourself, ain't nobody gonna beat us because you know how these guys play. You've played with these guys. You got confidence in these guys.
I mean, and if you come up and you'll pull up in the same car,
that's not the same,
yeah, man. It's over.
It's over.
There's not the same.
Just saying, let's just some better team. But I'm saying, I gave this story. There were some Puerto Rican guys we used to play when we used to play at Cass Street. They were smaller than everybody, but couldn't nobody beat them.
Could nobody beat him.
And you know
They
why
had
nobody
chemistry.
could beat them? And,
They had
and there was
chemistry.
better talent. You know
They
why?
had
They
chemistry.
had chemistry.
They had
They
chemistry.
knew each other. There were
Yep.
things, and so
Setting
then
pick screens, rolls.
right. They
nobody
they
had-
can do it in their sleep. So when
But
you
they've
get people
been,
that
they've been playing with
Chemistry,
each other.
though. That's what been
but
playing.
But that's different from me being on two other teams with other players and then coming back to meet up with y'all. My role is going to be different. My role was different. Everything changes. It's not the same. You have to go through
changed
those
that
moments together.
The three core players in New York, Bridges, who's Hart, and Brunson, they all have things that they do well, and they do those things well.
Cat is a core player before.
It's great that and
Hart
that's that all.
and
Well,
Bridges.
now he is. Well, now he is.
But
Cat just came
but
doing
if
the
you look
trade.
at,
Same
I
with
bet you if you
Bridges.
look at
I know.
if you look at Hart's plus minus when he's on the floor,
Yeah, he like
probably-
he the
he-
glue guy. He the
yeah,
glue guy.
yeah. So all I'm saying, because a lot of times we just, cause especially in the NBA, we look for scores.
Yeah.
You know, when you think about the best players in the NBA, everybody talks about scores.
Mhm.
Well, you can be a great scorer and still not a great basketball player, because basketball is more than scoring.
Yeah.
You know, so when that's great. Tom Chambers was one of the greatest scorers ever.
Yeah.
Oh man, he put up points,
He can score.
but that's all he could do.
Yeah.
He didn't rebound for his size. He certainly didn't play any defense,
Yeah, he got lost
and he
on the
was
floor
on
a lot.
some lousy teams.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that in terms of, I look for basketball players.
Yeah.
Draymond Green, in my mind, is a basketball player. You get into all those antics and all those things, but when you look at his plus minus on the floor, and I love that piece of analytics now. When you got a guy on the floor, does he make a difference when he's on the floor, as opposed to because last night
Can't give you
Westbrook.
no pass for that statement. You look for basketball players, but you was a fan of the Dame and the Drew Holiday trade.
Well, for the simple
That's,
fact,
no.
Drew Holiday is a basketball player.
I said that on paper. Don't. I was not a fan of that trade, but
You
on
was.
paper, no. On paper,
it
on
work
a
on
business
paper.
decision,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I was never a fan of the trade.
And
I
you
just
would-
understand that people
you
make
would always
business
say,
decisions.
We don't pay him to play defense. Yes, you do.
Hey, but this is the thing, though.
We don't.
Yes, you do. You
I-
play
I
him
have
to be a
said that.
basketball player.
I have said that. It's like Jim Brown. Jim Brown wasn't paid, and I'm sure he could block. He wasn't paid to block. I mean, that's
Jim Brown was the team, though.
okay.
I don't even know who their quarterback was. Do you? My point.
No, sir.
So you're not paying him to block. You giving him the ball and have him smack people upside the head. Ain't no passes given today, man.
I ain't giving any.
No, I ain't giving you no passes.
I ain't giving you any
You want
either.
basketball player.
He is a basketball player. If you could get that, but Adrian Dantley,
Mhm.
Hall of Famer,
Yeah,
great scorer.
but they all didn't mesh. No.
Chemistry. But then you get Mark Aguirre,
Right,
who's known Isaiah Thomas
right,
all their lives, coming from Chicago.
but he also knew I gotta fit in
That's the other piece of it. How much? Who's going to be willing?
to sacrifice.
When I don't know if you watch Celtic City.
Mm-mm.
Oh, the Celtics is really fascinating. It
It's a
was
series or a documentary.
series. It's a series documentary, but they talked about when Doc Rivers took over Boston,
Mm-hmm.
and he had, who did he bring in? Garnett, Paul Pierce. Who's the other?
Paul
person?
Pierce was already there.
No. When he came in, he met with him,
Oh, and Ray Allen.
Ray Allen. He said, so the question is, because they did this in Butu, right? So
Mhm.
the question is, he's gonna give up. The first person raised his hand was Kevin Garnett. He said, "I'll give it up because I'm trying to win."
Mm-hmm.
And so when people, and then Paul Pierce said, "Well, all right, well, this dude." So it's more than having great talent. I said this, and I saw this in my lived experience at Dominican. The 72-73 team was the most talented team that school ever had.
Mm-hmm.
The most talented team, without question. From top to bottom, they were talented. They had guys on the bench who go someplace else and they would start. That's how good they were. But they never came together as a team. The next year, the team that won the state championship didn't have the talent, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but then they win, because then things kind of line up too. There's this thing about,
I mean, that's kind of like what
Fate.
happened with Wisconsin Lutheran.
what do you mean?
because the year before they won last year. Well, they won this year and they won the year before, but the 2 years ago, their team was more talented when what's the Knipple was a junior.
Right.
When he was a junior, they was more talented. Junior and sophomore, it was more talented.
All right. You're listening to Friday. Pass is given on Friday. Because we see you every Friday. Every Friday. We'll be right
President Donald Trump is touting progress in his ongoing trade talks with China, but updated tariffs could make higher prices for U.S. consumers. The president posted on Truth Social last week describing a meeting with Chinese officials in Switzerland as a total reset. He said it was constructive and claimed major progress had been made toward opening China to more American businesses. At the same time, the administration has announced updated tariffs, 30% for a 90-day period for China. Retailers say that kind of cost increase is likely to be passed on to consumers. Walmart, for example, has warned that the size of the tariffs is more than surprise to absorb and that shoppers can start seeing higher prices by the end of the month, especially in June. They provided that warning in an interview with CNBC. Economists and retail analysts have noted that companies often offset tariff costs by raising prices, and some have described the policy as a hidden tax on American consumers. For URA News, I'm Jamie Jackson.
Here's your updated forecast. We see increasing cloud cover today with a high of 80 degrees. Breezy winds out of the south increased from 15 to 20 miles per hour, gusting as high as 45. And then for tonight, chance for showers and thunderstorms, cloudy and low near 51. By Saturday, a sun chance for rain, cloudy skies at 64 degrees. Sunday, mostly sunny and a high around 57. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki on AM 860 The Voice.
If you're ready this weekend, be sure to have plenty of village cartoons on hand. It's important that secret sauce is great, and once you back to the basics, it's all in one. Crispy grilled burgers and hot dogs and served the best. And with several varieties to choose from, including unspiced old-fashioned, classic light or wheat, country potato, and mini sliders, the makers of Village Heart have the buns your family will love. Village Heart buns, look in the back and fresh food. Get ready to experience Frederick Douglass on stage. Frederick the Musical makes its debut on May 15th and 16th at Milwaukee's Roosevelt Angel School of the Arts. Join us for an inspiring, high-energy hip-hop musical that will keep you on the edge of your seat. It's Frederick the Musical. Tickets are available now at frederickthemusical.com. That's frederickthemusical.com for tickets and more information.
Have you been looking for that adult place where you can go and enjoy the atmosphere? I know of the place, Play by Play, 3910 West Fond du Lac Avenue, formerly known as Chino's. Join us for the new casual affair hosted by me, Sandra Silk, every Saturday from 5 to 9 p.m. Yes, Milwaukee, it's back, the casual affair, formerly hosted by Lady PJ, an adult event just for you. There will be great music, fantastic drink specials, and food that's finger licking good, like turkey legs, catfish, wings, and much more. That's every Saturday for the new casual affair at Play by Play from 5 to 9 p.m. We're here. You're there. So come on down and join us.
860 AM, 106.5 FM, WNOV, The Voice. Your host, Keith Parris,
Welcome back, caller. We thank you for your patience. Welcome to the program.
Good morning. You on there?
Good morning. Hey, how's it going?
All right,
what's
yourself.
happening?
I just wanted to throw a few names at DJ if and tell me which players you recognize the name. Caldwell Jones, Enos Watley, Quentin Daly, Wesley Matthews, Orlando Woolridge. Can you tell me what team they played for, sir?
The Bulls.
Okay, that was Jordan's rookie year, so I just want to say that Wilt Chamberlain, Magic, Kareem, nobody would have won championships with those teams. However, 8 of the 11 years that he was healthy outside of playing baseball, he possibly would have won a championship because those 2 Rockets years, I think the Bulls would have beat them. So only 6 championships in really playing 12 years. If we're not talking about the Wizards time frame, that's giving yourself a pass, you know.
That wasn't my point. You was loosely listening.
I know.
What I said was it takes time in order to win a championship, and I said
And that part
you
I
have
agree
to
with
grow and build your team as far as learning, maturing, and being mentally and physically strong. I you know, Jordan, even when he got Scotty and Horace Grant, they still had to learn to win in the playoffs because they was going against those tough teams like Boston and the Pistons, and he even had struggles with the Cavaliers.
But I think the other piece of it was also they had an offense that was suited to those players, and then they had buy-in right into that particular offense. The triangle offense is probably like the old UCLA wing series in terms of.
Well, Jordan didn't buy in at first to the triangle.
I said, but he didn't. But once he did, because I think didn't Kobe have some issues with the triangle when Phil Jackson brought it to LA?
I mean, any ball dominant guard
right.
don't have
so
problems with
you know,
that.
but then after a while, you kind of go like, hey man, and you know, for Michael Jordan, if nothing else, Michael Jordan's about winning, right? That's all that mattered to him. Everything in life to him is about winning. Where some other people, there might be, I just like being the star.
Mm-hmm.
You know, whether they win or lose, I just like everything that goes along with it. You know, I like being the big fish in the small pond. But people like Michael Jordan, people like Magic Johnson, people like Larry Bird, you know, those dudes, man, Draymond Green, they're trying to win. It's about what does it take to win. And you don't always have people who have that mentality. Their mentality is like, okay, I'm getting paid.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm doing everything. But when you start focusing in on winning, especially when you have the ability to win, have the talent to win, there are a lot of people out there that are determined to win. They just don't have the talent to be able to do what they need to do.
Right.
And keep that determination sometimes comes with the superstar being willing to concede, like you were saying, the Celtics, or adjust. I even saw Cynthia Cooper do an interview where she was talking about coming off the bench with USC because of the McGee twins and Cheryl Miller, and then going overseas and averaging 40 points per game for a decade and being 34 or 35 when the WNBA started. And I guess who was on her team? Tina Thompson and Cheryl was injured the first season of the WNBA.
Right.
So they go and win a championship. And then the second year, Cheryl comes back, and she said she actually had to watch a lot of film to see what adjustments she was going to need to make because she played with Cheryl Miller. So she knew that when Cheryl Swoops came back, that she would have to make adjustments.
And that's interesting because you talk about that USC team. You know, Cynthia Cooper is the 4th best player on that team.
Right.
Do you think
she was
about
the 6th man until the Final Four.
Right. You know, so when you look at at that, you can never tell. Michael Jordan, his freshman year, he was probably the third best player on that team, right?
Right.
And he was able to shine, but Perkins and Worthy, so and then that's the whole thing. Never, I used to tell the kids I coached in middle school, Jermaine might be dominating now, but Jermaine might have reached his peak. You just got to keep going. People that you would have thought was an afterthought. I mean, Tim Duncan. I saw Tim Duncan play. They came here for NCAA regional. And he just looked like this average player, right? Nothing spectacular about him. But then you look at the stat sheets and you go like, man, this dude is so there's been people who have been afterthoughts, and then there's some people like you spot on. That kind of gets back to, I don't see Cooper Flagg. Now, maybe there's something there. He got an upside that maybe I don't see, but I think there's like DJ, and I agree with him on this. There's a difference when you dominate, like Christian Laettner dominated as a college player, right?
Yep.
But then you get to the pros, and he's just another, as Isaiah Thomas, and he's just another good player, and just kind of, he did have some injuries, but
he did make an All-Star game. So.
Yeah, but he wasn't going to be. He's on the dream team. He could always say that.
Yeah, and probably if you named 5 college players, he probably had, when you talk about having a college career, he might not be in the top 5, but top 10 definitely.
Oh man, it's just winning
for Duke.
Yeah.
Oh, he might be.
I mean, no, I'm just saying in the history of college basketball.
College basketball.
Like,
Yeah. Top 10.
Top 10, maybe.
Yeah. I'm trying to think who would come out of Duke who was better as Grant Hill. I'm sorry. My bad.
And I just want to say the Jrue Holiday thing, I believe the performances in the playoffs in 2023 versus Jimmy Butler, I was in the building when Jimmy Butler got to 56 points, and him not being the same after him and Chris Middleton went and played in the Olympics was part of the reason for the Bucks' decision. And when you're talking about getting a guy who is a all-time one of the 75 greatest players ever, if you're gonna roll the dice,
is he really a top 75 player all time though?
Outside, you're missing outside shooting.
I think he overrated to me.
Who's that?
Dang, yeah. I think he's overrated.
If you name 10 all-time 3-point shooters, and you're a team that's lacking that consistency, because we have to admit the man has averaged 25 points a game.
How many years had Jrue Holiday been in the league for the Bucks? Got 8-9 years already, right? That he was like a journeyman. I would see him because he was
a journeyman.
Well, I'm saying journeyman in terms of he played with a lot of different teams.
He played with several teams, about 4 teams.
That's not a journeyman.
Yeah,
he played with the Sixers and the
4 or 5 teams. He's there. Yeah, I mean, he's been in New Orleans, Philadelphia,
and that's it.
He's a good player, but he averages 11 points a game,
but he's not going to carry you.
And a lot of times, some of those missed layups cost the Bucks games, just like some of the defensive players won games for them.
Oh man! Oh, Dame too.
I mean, a lot of
some turnovers at the end, and the Bucks won in spite of the turnovers that both him and Giannis had.
But the
in the finals,
the game that the Bucks will eke out and win, even though they played terrible, was because of Holiday's defensive presence.
Tucker added to his prowess. Once they got him, that took some pressure off of.
If Dame isn't hot, then we probably gonna lose that game.
Yep. Well, but it just shows you, man. And then how do you make that up? I mean, and then I think the other thing, we get players a lot of times. I hear people, oh man, we got Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is 55 years old, man.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is that I'm not saying he's past his prime.
What?
But
at 55?
No, I use that as a joke, man. Okay, he's not really 55.
He is past his prime. He like
37, or is he 36?
But then, and then here comes the exception to the rule. LeBron James.
He's still past his prime.
He's just playing at a high level.
He's putting up numbers that a first or second best player in their prime will put up, however.
Right.
And we can't keep looking at stats to justify a player being a good player, because that's fool's gold.
No.
Well, stats
You have
got
to look
something.
The ball going in the
Yeah,
basket is the object of the game.
So if you average 30, but you keep losing,
You still averaging 30. You can.
You're still averaging 30.
you're still
I'm
averaging.
talking about his individual contribution,
but,
which is
but the
a part of basketball.
but the goal is to win the game, right?
So that's on the.
Well, you won't win every
No.
game, even
That's
if
See,
like Joker scored 40 the other night and they lost.
He didn't do enough.
He didn't do enough. So
He scored 40. He
If
had
you
20
lose, you
rebounds.
did not do
Sometimes
enough.
it's the other others making
man.
plays at
If
key
you
times.
lose,
Come
you
on,
didn't
man.
do enough.
Come on,
No,
man.
you could have did everything you did. Somebody else.
If you do
else gotta
everything that you
step
do
up.
and the
Hey,
other
so
team
then
does
that-
better
that
is
game,
where
'cause,
Keith started with you.
Y'all be making all these excuses.
Debo
man.
was saying last night, had Strada not gotten the game, I don't know.
Exactly.
Strada was like this X factor,
He was just a
right? Because they were.
Well,
throw-in.
maybe
They
I'm
threw
too
him
old
in.
school for y'all. But where I come from, if you lost, that means you didn't get it done. That's
but-
point
Of
blank.
course you
Okay,
didn't get it
so-
done,
so-
but that ain't on the player. That's on the
talking about-
team.
look-
That's not on one individual, is what we're explaining
It's
to you.
on the team,
But y'all
DJ.
The
talking
old
about
school
we
is
talking
based
about the
on
best
teamwork,
players, though.
Look
We're
at
not
the
talking
and
about
the
a role.
team loses not one player.
Look at
But
Boston.
we're not talking
So
about
you
a
you can
role.
do
We're
everything.
talking about the best
It
players.
don't matter. It's a
It
player
don't
on the team.
Okay.
We were just talking about this earlier. Look at Boston. Boston would probably be gone fishing if it hadn't been for one young man that got
And
in
that
the
white
game
dude that got in the game,
and
that
got
wasn't
all
even
them
supposed
blocks
to play.
and got eight
Cornette's been
points,
No, but he wasn't. He
8
wasn't
blocks.
going to play. No, they said he played those amount of minutes because Jason Tatum was hurt. They wasn't going to insert him into that lineup because he was only playing certain minutes. He played that extended time because Jason was hurt
Okay.
and Al was in foul trouble.
And Al is old.
And Al is old as a fool. He played with Moses and Jesus then with sandals. So
Daryl Dawkins in there.
come on, man.
Daryl Dawkins.
Daryl Dawkins did.
Yeah, you're right.
Daryl Dawkins did.
Chocolate Thunder.
I remember.
Will Jones was
I
on that-
remember
on
a
that
quote
team with-
from Kobe when they said, "Oh, Kobe, you had 50-some points, but you still came up short. You know, what could you have done?" He was like, "Well, maybe I needed 54."
Well, he was being sarcastic. Fool.
No, he wasn't being
Exactly.
sarcastic.
He was being sarcastic.
real because
So
that's
he
the
was pretty much
mentality
saying-
that
he
the
was
best
pretty much-
players is supposed to have.
He was pretty
man.
much saying, "Hey, all you other cats,
He wasn't pretty much
step
saying that.
up. All
'Cause
you
Kobe
other
is-
cats."
Kobe is pretty much the person to say what was on his mind
Bro,
anyway.
no game
So
is
he
won
wasn't
by
pretty
one
much saying
player
nothing.
though. Because if that's the
why they
case,
have 5.
Giannis won't
now,
be trying to
now
lead.
if Kobe was playing 1-on-1 and lost 51-50, then there was something else he could do. But when you have 4 other guys, and many times Giannis
Come on, man.
and the Joker are good examples of that. We have 4 other
Giannis definitely
guys.
didn't do enough.
Sometimes
all the
they
turnovers he had.
sometimes they don't do the things that they need to do, which are much smaller portions. And you're cutting the biggest piece of the pie, and you get exhausted because they are human beings.
Whenever you lose,
So if you do what we're paying you to do, we pay Giannis to score 30, get about 12 rebounds and 4 or 5 assists, right?
Thank you, Keith.
Maybe it was just that. You did everything
Thank
you
you.
could, and
And
you
you
still
just got
lost.
and
whooped.
guess what?
You wasn't good enough.
And guess what? You didn't do enough because you got whooped.
Even if you
No,
did
they were
enough,
better
you
than
could have
you.
used every
They were
single.
better than you.
fiber
No matter
of your
what you
beat.
would have done that
Yeah,
day. They
exactly.
was better than you.
So again, because they was better than you, you didn't do.
You did
enough.
all you can.
What are you talking
All you
about?
could.
All
If
you
you do
could.
all you can, you did enough, bro.
Hey,
Kevin Durant
right
did
now,
all he could for the Nets. Somebody
left
else
him.
didn't show up.
right,
And he left and went to go to state.
right now, if we are politicians, let's take it away from basketball since y'all not understanding.
Now now politicians are singular.
If
They're
if
not
Keith get more
on a
votes than
team.
me, if
The mayor is by himself and the president by himself.
if Keith get more,
Let's keep
more votes
it in
than me,
basketball.
if Keith gets more votes than me and he wins the election and I lose, I lost, and it's because I didn't get enough votes. So that means because I lost, I didn't do enough.
No.
Whether
No.
I didn't reach out to
No,
as many
that ain't
people,
true. That
whether I
means some
wasn't
people just didn't
likable,
like you.
whether I ain't kissed nobody's butt, whatever the case may be, I
Let's say
didn't
you
do
did
enough
all of that.
to win.
Let's say you did all of that and you still lost. That means that whoever beat you for whatever reason, circumstances lined up, but for that day, they were better.
In part,
There is
didn't Joe
no
Biden
way-
win because of George Floyd and COVID?
Right. Well, hold on.
Okay,
And I give you a great
so
example.
he didn't.
In another election, he would have had to do more, right?
Right. Exactly.
Okay, so Giannis always scores 30 points, and probably 60% of the time we win.
That's not good.
30
enough.
points, 30 points, about 12 rebounds.
You had other
His
folks-
job is to do that.
Yeah, what
His
the hell
job
you
is
on the
not
team
to
for?
do other people's job.
Do
Like,
y'all-
if Jermaine isn't there and the sound doesn't sound as good, have you and Keith failed? Or are you just missing a teammate?
You missing a
That's what we're saying.
teammate.
Basketball,
Exactly.
Coach Clyde Russ from Milwaukee, Washington, Hall of Famer. That's his assignment in the locker room, and it's about we. And that's why Washington High School has a lot of those balls, Keith. And that's because there is no I in teams.
Excuse me,
it's about weism when you put 5 people on the court or 9 people on the baseball.
If Jermaine isn't there, the sound isn't going to sound
You suck,
good.
Debo. That's what he's saying. You ain't no engineer like me, pimp. That's what he's saying.
Or Debo. I'm sorry.
No, listen.
Because Jermaine is playing the Oregon and all that good stuff.
Yeah, use the Oregon there. Use the
My bad.
I agree. I don't care how great the choir is.
Exactly.
Used to Jermaine being part of that sound, and Jermaine is not there.
And you got a different music. It's
and
going
you
to
might
impact
be able to
him.
pivot.
Exactly.
And you might be now. Someone just texted.
And on the weeks that DJ is sleepy and he's giving passes, the show is not as good. So I like days like today when he's just refuting everything, even though it's factual.
So he's not giving any passes today.
He's not giving any passes, and that's what I enjoy about DJ. Even when he's not stating facts, he stands on his non-fact, and I appreciate that.
He's been consistent in this point that if you lose, you didn't do enough.
No ice cream for you, huh?
Even in politics, you can say, politics can be rigged, and well, then you didn't kiss enough ass in order to get that win.
I'm standing
If it's rigged, there's nothing you can do.
If it's rigged, you're going to lose. You're going to lose from the start because it's rigged.
If you didn't,
well, not necessarily. Sometimes
if it's rigged,
sometimes you can be out bankrolled though.
Oh, who fault is that?
There we go.
No,
get
your money off. Get your money off.
So you're not rubbing elbows. So you're not rubbing elbows with enough people.
Come on, DJ, man.
So you're not rubbing elbows with enough people.
Now I can say that there's been people out there knocked on every door and won. You had some people knocked on every door and still lost. So I mean, because there's some other things you can.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
I don't see that as some type of some of the best games I've ever had. I lost.
Me too.
I couldn't have done any more than I did, and we still lost.
Because there's games where you didn't do as much and you still won. Right.
What the hell is we talking about, man?
My point is, if you did so much, but you say that you lost, then you could have done a little bit more.
So you could have made that layup that you missed.
Because you didn't. Because when you won, in times where you didn't have the high numbers,
it was a team effort. That's why we won.
You did enough to win.
Well, other factors, we played against an inferior team.
Yeah.
Don't leave the opponent out, though. You can't leave out who you're playing.
Right.
There you go, Debo.
Right. Hey, it's a competition.
Now, if DJ was talking about golf, tennis, or swimming, he would be correct because they're individual sports. But the other sports, you have an opportunity for individual achievement within the team concept. So it's always we. It's never. As soon as you say you lost,
I'll tell y'all something else.
You're already
people
working
always
against your own point and you're wrong.
Always leave out.
You can't ever lose in a team sport.
Yeah, but
we lose or win.
There's some teams
I got that from Mr. Beckham too, DJ.
Let me show you this. There are teams that know they ain't going nowhere. So when they face you, they giving it 100 because they ain't making the playoffs. They ain't doing none of that. Right. That's their Super Bowl or whatever sport we're talking about.
We can beat these dudes anyway. Yeah. Cleveland. And then guess what happens?
You get whooped.
Who fault is that?
It's the mentality.
It's a factor.
What you mean? That is a fault.
It's a factor.
It means that you look past them and they goal was to beat you.
Now I do have to agree with DJ on this. He just asked the question: who fault is that with that situation? And if the players overlooked that team, that's the players' fault because you underestimated that team and you lost.
Sometimes that's just human nature.
No, because
that's just like Jermaine.
Well. Wait.
You know, you done seen an Oregon player. You like, he all right, but he ain't in my league.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So there are people that you look at and you say they're just not.
But you know where that come from? I'm gonna tell you where this come from. And this statement I got from Troy Cotton, Minister Troy Cotton Sr. He said, if you fail to prepare, you are preparing to fail, which is true. Because if you overlook a team like, oh, well, we ain't got to play as hard, you are failing to prepare. Because now you're coming to practice like we're not going to put in the same intensity if we was playing L.A. So we playing the Washington Wizards, so we just going to lollygag, and you mess around and you get whooped because you failed to prepare.
It was something my high school coach was talking about. He mentions it in the book. Now, look, let's just be real talk. Just be honest. At the beginning of the season, you could not find one person on that team who said we're going to win a state championship. It wasn't nobody. Look, let's beat Marquette. I mean, it wasn't. So then when we get to the point now that we're competing for a state championship,
you believe?
Yeah, but then we didn't. So we were kind of doing the same kind of stuff. And he was like, dude, you in it now.
Yeah.
And this is what it's going to take to win it.
Yeah.
And look.
So it was fight or flight.
Yeah.
It's preparation.
But he talking about he didn't even believe.
Styles matchup makes a fight. Yep. Matchup makes a game that sometimes you got a better, the matchup is in your favor. It's not, and then people out there working hard. But guess what? Things can fall in your favor. You know, there's still randomness in life. So, all right. Oh, man.
You going to take a call?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Call it. Welcome to the program.
Welcome.
What's going on, y'all?
Arizona.
Man, I'm trying to speak some sense into these
trying
on this Friday.
Trying to wake this brother up over here, man.
I'm excuses for losing, but they did that a couple weeks ago. They did that.
Listen, I'm gonna say one. Listen, I'm gonna say one player, and you said one player don't make a difference.
I don't know who said that. I didn't say that.
And that dude had 100 points. He still lost.
Wilt.
Yeah, Wilt.
They won that game. No, they
lost that game.
No, they didn't. They
lost that game.
No, they beat New York. And the crazy thing was, because he lived in New York, there were some guys, they had to ride from Hershey, Pennsylvania, back to New York in the car after he dropped 100 on them. They won that game. He didn't lose.
Well, but you still, that's one person, though. That's one person, though. It's a team game, man.
So
the
other team was then saying we could have done more.
Yeah. The other team was like, why do we even show up?
Washington Generals. We're not going to win this game. It's over.
Yeah, but
other players only got 69 points.
You still.
So he beat him by 30.
Man, he played the game by himself.
Yeah. So he beat him by 30.
But how often does that happen?
No, he ain't beat him by himself.
It depends. Right now, to me, it depends which ref is coaching, because the ref will play the game all day when LeBron playing, because they'll make sure he wins, because he cries so dang on much.
Come on, man.
Man, he do.
At the end of the day, stats is not everything. And
it
just
isn't,
because you have 40, 50, whatever the point.
Yeah, but
if you
don't
if
you don't jail, and you can have 100 like the Yankees. The Yankees be having one of the top teams all the time, and they can't win the championship to save their life.
Crazy payroll. You're right.
They can't win to say they can't even get to the playoffs, and they be having everybody.
You talking recently with the Yankees? I mean, the Yankees.
Oh man, recently it's been like 15, 20 years. Dude. What are you talking about recently?
Boston, that whole Boston Red Sox and Yankees
they ain't won since either it was 2010 or
it was probably when Jeter was there, probably.
Yeah, after when Jeter
because that was the one year that A-Rod finally did something in the playoffs.
Yep,
that was it. And dude was overrated steroids.
All right, I did get some text messages. You always engender comments.
Gender comments. We didn't do that today.
Your best can be somebody else's worst. You maxed out your talent, but someone else had more.
Yeah,
I mean that's real talk, man.
And guess what it was? That was team. That was a team. You might have had all the points, but the other team whooped you. The team whooped you.
Right. Yeah. And you've had some people have some incredible scoring games, and they lost.
Right. It wasn't enough. Why can't you just accept that you having an incredible game sometimes?
But ain't that selfish though?
Why can't you just accept there's some people better than
you?
No,
it ain't selfish. It ain't selfish. If you lost, you lost.
No. See,
as a competitor, if I
was asking the question,
like, man,
he said
I could have done more.
If you score like 40 points and you lose the game, you didn't do enough. And I asked him the question, ain't that selfish because you have a team? There's no I.
No, that ain't two eyes. It ain't selfish when they throwing up them bricks, right? And you don't even score.
Oh yeah.
And you know, like I felt so bad for Westbrook last night because that first half he had an atrocious first half, and then the dude talking about the game, he going, What you taking me out for?
Right, man.
The 3 turnovers in less than a minute?
But guess what? You'll never see Westbrook not shoot. He could be 0 for 50. He's still gonna fire it up.
Oh, the game I remember, he's at OKC. Everybody was gone. He shot himself to exhaustion.
Yeah.
I've never seen a player just ran out of gas from shooting so much. He was putting them up, man.
Yeah.
You know, and he's feast and famine, dude. But I think in life,
you got to shoot through it, man. You know, you shoot yourself out of.
But that's the thing, man. They tell shooters shoot through. You know, when you missing and things like because you got to find your niche, and once you find that niche, when the ball is leaving your hand, then you got
and guess what they do? And guess what they do after the game? When they're done with the game, they come right back out and shoot some more.
Yeah. Because they
shoot some more.
Because they find that feel from the ball.
And that's why I say watch that Celtic City, man, because Larry Bird had this thing, man, where he was such an extreme professional. And he that shot he missed against the Lakers. He walked past that Riley said, I can't believe you left me that wide open.
I bet you Larry ain't gonna say, I did all I could do. He's gonna say, I have 40 and we lost.
No.
Hell no.
Larry never made it.
But sometimes he talked about when they lost to Michigan State. He said they were just good. I did everything I could. He couldn't do anything because he was the only player that Indiana State had. They were good enough to make the championship. Michigan State. How many guys went to the pros from that Indiana State team other than Larry Bird? And then how many guys went to the pros based on that?
No, we
if you get it, a hot go over run and surprise. And run all the way to 1 year. Went all the way through. He did. But they was a good team, though. It wasn't good. But it was just throughout the regulars. But there was teams that were better than you. You're listening. Certainly had better records. You're listening to Community Voice. Well, every now and then, really gets a sense of the gravity and the professionalism that goes into putting together this program. So, but I don't know. Jermaine wasn't here.
You most definitely wouldn't get the getting out the bed.
Jermaine. I don't know what we do. And now it's time for the Protege's perspective.
Throughout the course of a day, it's been said that people could have up to 6,200 thoughts per day. Whether we know the exact number or not, there's a consensus that many thoughts run through the minds of people on a daily basis. Feelings and emotions invoke certain thoughts, and those thoughts enhance the very same feelings and emotions. Some are positive and others are negative. Others can lead one down a road where answers need to be found or confirmed. Our mind can explore so many outcomes where the possibilities are endless. Our imagination begins to take over, and now we are on an exploratory ride. The thoughts that appear in our mind can lead us down various paths. Some thoughts are present for a moment, while others linger a little longer. In the midst of navigating life and the many obstacles that arise, it is the thoughts that we hold on to the most that take precedent when making certain decisions. I've often said to myself, what we think about, we bring about. Our thoughts are powerful beyond measure. Thoughts, just like words, have tremendous impact on outcomes. Often, it's said that you can speak life or you can speak death into someone else or yourself. The same is true for your thoughts. You can either think life or think death. It's all dependent upon you. Many people have recounted endless stories of facing adversity, yet having a resilient mind in order to overcome whatever obstacle that may have come their way was the difference in that triumphant feat. Many of those stories ended in triumph. There are also many stories where people have let their thoughts negatively consume them, and those thoughts led to stress, feeling overwhelmed, anxiety, and other dire issues. The mind, body, and spirit are as one, and one is not as strong without the other. Our thoughts impact our lives and our world tremendously. So don't take any thought lightly because those thoughts can soon come to be.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Man, I always, when I get it. You always leave them wanting more, right?
I don't want to bore you.
Thought?
I don't want to bore.
Don't start, please don't make me sing.
My trouble.
See, now Devo joining it.
But it's a good tune.
It's whole domino
It's
effect.
definitely and speaking on I love you, I want to give a shout out to my mom. Happy birthday. Tomorrow is her birthday. Let me do this.
DJ.
You know, yeah.
No, wait, don't never say that.
No. You ain't let me finish. We got a bad habit of cutting people off.
Go ahead. Finish that. Man. That didn't even start
like
out.
touring at the Capitol.
Nobody talking while you talking. Go, man.
Yeah, man.
So another thing.
Another thing. She did make me do this. You know, she wanted me to give a shout out. It's really on her behalf to the Inspirational Choir, Metropolitan Missionary Baptist Church.
40 years.
40 years on Sunday. So she won't be able to be present. But her spirit is with everyone that was in the choir. She was a member of the choir. So was Keith. So shout out to the Inspirational.
Then
so is it like an evening service?
3:00.
It's at 3:00. So are you gonna sing with the choir?
No,
Seriously. Because if he's gonna sing with the choir, if he's gonna sing with the choir, I promise you, I'm coming.
Did you used to be like president?
I promise.
Or
they asked that he does not sing with the choir.
I promise you, I will show up on Burleigh if this cat is singing with the choir.
I am a pip. I know my notes. I sing my notes. When we had the youth choir, I was one of the directors on our recording.
Nice.
So yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to do what I'm not. You know, I mean, I get in, I do my background.
Question was, are you singing Sunday?
Yeah, because if
we're getting old Sunday, here, come on.
No, wait a minute. First of all, you sit up here and then you run me down, and then you go like, "Are you gonna sing?" No, I know there's gonna be one song. I haven't been singing, but there is one song I think I know
I'm coming,
I'm
man.
gonna sing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do, and I'm also doing the choir history tomorrow. So
I'm coming.
Oh boy, that's nice.
And I'm hoping Ren will be with us tomorrow.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
from Chicago, right?
Yeah, I'm hoping that you know. I mean, tomorrow, Sunday. The thing about our church was we didn't always take it as seriously as we should have, but the level of talent is without question. So, yeah, I just felt very fortunate to. My whole introduction into even being in the choir had nothing to do with music. When you're a teenager, you know, it's where the girls are.
Yeah.
And then came in and really fell in love with it. And just to be able to, I remember someone walked up to me one time and said, "Oh man, you come from that church where they sing 3 parts."
Harmony, man.
Oh man, and just, you know, you get so many different ministers of music, and so the influence is a lot of times. I know when I was president of the choir, which is really kind of funny, even how I got in the choir, because we had 40 years ago, and actually it was maybe a year before that, you know, churches, particularly Baptist churches, were losing young people, either, you know, to other churches or 20-somethings. Let me say this. If you're at a church right now saying, "We're the 20-somethings," stop looking, because probably you weren't in church when you were in your 20s. So, you know, early 20s anyway. So you got that piece of it. Or they're at a peer church, you know, where they're with other 20-somethings.
Or they're at a church where there's energy and there's vibrant.
Right. You know, so so we lost a lot. And I remember I told you that choir at one point, youth choir was over 100 members. So you can imagine just losing. And we lost people. And that happens a lot of churches. But in the Baptist churches, usually younger people will leave, either because, well, you're in your 20s, man. Your early 20s is, you're doing a whole lot of living. I mean, you in college, that's usually college age. It's just a lot going on. And so for us to, like, why are they in church? Well, many of us weren't there in our 20s, right? And most people then come back to church when they start having kids, right? Early 30s. And so they created this group. And I didn't sing so I'm doing the math on it. It would have been created in 1985. I didn't join the choir until 2002, which is interesting because remember we had 9/11. I was part of this, had been invited to this group called the FBI Citizens Academy. And our first meeting was on September 11, 2001. So get a call from the FBI, our guy, saying, "I guess, you know, we're not going to do it. We're going to do it in the spring," because they all had to go east, right? That'd be a part of that investigation. So I signed up for it in May. That was before May. And then the then president, Jackie Dickerson, they needed tenors, and so they asked me to join. And so that's how I ended up.
And she was president?
Huh? She was president then. I think she was because
Dang, I didn't know
she
that.
asked me to join because they didn't have a lot of tenors, and so ended up. And then long story short, nobody else wanted to do it. Then then I become president and go through what we had to go through. I'm going to tell you, people can do great performances, but behind the scenes, there's a whole lot of human stuff going on behind the scenes. And the one thing about the music is that at least for that moment, you can focus on that. But so we
when I was a kid, they had two good choirs: the Sanctuary Choir,
right,
and the Inspiration
Choir. And then even because depending on who your minister of music was, I know that sometimes we would sing at the church, and people would look at us because the songs we were doing were not so much non-traditional, but they're very different.
Well, I remember when I was little, that was around the time Kirk Franklin had just started. And people was not rocking with Kirk Franklin.
Right.
Now, he a legend now. You know what I'm saying? Everybody give him his just due. But when he first came, they was not rocking with Kirk Franklin.
And that's true because a lot of churches looked at Kirk Franklin as being worldly, singing worldly music, which is crazy to me because if you go back to the Edward Hawkins days, the music that they created was structured around for that time.
You go back to Thomas
Dorsey. It was structured for around that time. So whatever was popular in that time frame is what music was structured around, whether it was gospel or R&B or whatever. And they took that structure and they created their own field because and as a musician and the music producer, what I listen for is what's happening right now. So when I'm in the studio and I'm creating for an artist, I'm listening to the radio like, okay, so what's hot, what's playing, what field is playing right now, and then you build something around whatever is hot.
Doesn't things evolve? I mean,
exactly.
It's like hip hop.
Yeah.
When you look at hip hop today, you look at rap today, it has and I want to use the word, and I think this is a compliment. It has so matured in terms of what you're getting, lyrical content. Yeah. You get Kendrick Lamar, who wins a Pulitzer.
Yeah.
And there's always been great poetry in rap, right? And so him doing that's a homage to all those people who came along.
And that's just the evolution of people thinking too,
right?
And them opening
technology,
up to the genre,
right?
You know what I'm saying?
How society shifts have been, and so to be able to do it, but it, and I thought I was sitting there. That's funny. Thank you for that. I so look forward to this anniversary because the last time we did an anniversary, I was president of the choir. And I'm telling you, dude, the stress level is, and then when you have a personality like mine, and I'm going to be fully transparent where I'm very controlling, I don't join, but once I do join, I'm really, and then there's the perfectionist. I mean, there's a whole lot of psychosis that goes along. That's
you want to put on a good product. You don't want to look bad.
Right. So to be able to do that. So I'm looking forward to it. 40 years.
Nice.
I was sitting up there thinking like, man, when we started, people were still wearing Jerry curls. Caller, welcome to the program.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning. Jermaine, you lied. You lied to me with I said you lied to me with Keith and DJ and Dico up in there. Hey, they're my boys.
Wait,
but I caught.
Say it one more time because your phone is going in and out.
He may have us on speaker. Let's make certain he doesn't have us on speaker.
You calling us from a payphone?
Where's one at?
I need to go.
Right. Hey, as soon as you said it, I looked across the street where it used to be at.
You need to put some more money in, man.
It used to be right there on the corner. So you calling from a payphone?
Hey, hold on. Hey, first of all, y'all my boys up in there, but I called in
to support DJ. A lot of things.
There you go.
Hey, we all know a lot of things go into winning, but when y'all watch the game, do y'all ever listen to the commentators afterwards?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, did y'all hear him say after the game, Joker had 40-something points? They said he's gonna have to have more of an imprint on the game in order for them to beat them, and that's true all the time.
But how many assists did he have last?
But how do you have more?
It don't matter. It wasn't enough if they lose.
No, I agree with that.
That's my point.
That's his point. I get what y'all saying. I think y'all might be arguing the wrong thing, but I totally get it that what he was saying. If you don't do it like with us, Giannis might have 40 all the time. If we don't win, he ain't doing enough.
No, he needs some players around him to help him.
No, it ain't always. Hey, so check it out. You around him and he got the ball all the time. What you gonna do?
Wait for the ball, and then when he passes,
wait.
And then when he passes, wait. No, you just asked the question. Wait for the ball, right? And then when he passed me the ball, my job is to score. But if I'm missing a shot, that ain't on Giannis. That's on me.
See, Kenny, they want it both ways because
I know
the star of the player.
It's both ways.
The star player usually gets the brunt of the criticism, right? Because
or all the glory by his
they get
download
the
self,
brunt
like
of
nobody
the-
else did nothing.
Because they get the brunt of the acclaim when they win, which is the reason why you pay them the
They
amount
also
of
get
money
the
that you
blame
pay
when
them.
they lose.
So, if they continuously lose, but all you can say is they put up big numbers, then what people have been calling them empty calories.
So
that it's not equating to winning, and that's what matters the most.
But you know what? Can I use this analogy? There's more to a sandwich than meat.
Yeah. You got lettuce,
you got mayonnaise, bread,
and that all play a part. Yeah.
In order to make a sandwich,
you need every component.
All the meat in the world, and it's not a sandwich.
Hold on, Doc. You get.
Y'all got all the analogies.
Who's gonna say if the sandwich is bad, it goes to who was preparing that meat. That sandwich.
So if he failed to prepare, then you prepare.
Maybe it's some bad meat.
So did Keith prepare this, or did he
come
buy
up with
this?
all the analogies y'all want to? If you don't do enough to win, you're gonna lose.
But the problem is that would be, as the brother said, in golf and tennis, right?
No,
but in a team sport, everybody got to do what they need to do.
Yeah, because if Keith passed me the ball,
we didn't do enough. I didn't do enough.
Yeah.
We didn't do enough.
So then there's no
let's look at it
superstar.
this way. Why, for the most part, why do teams win? Why do teams win?
Because you have a player like Giannis that might hold on. You have a star player that might score 40, right? But then he got somebody around him like AJ Green that might put up 15. He got somebody else around him like Porter that might put up.
Wait a minute.
You could have said,
Hold on.
I'm just saying.
I'm over here with DJ now.
It's the first.
I'm just going off the roster.
Your boy,
Because he's a shooter. He's a shooter, man. I like that cat.
Every time the Bucks lose, you know, if AJ would have been in,
man,
they still would have lost.
No, but listen, on that last play, if Giannis would have passed the ball to Giannis, to Green, Green was wide open. Green might have made that shot, man.
Is he Paxton?
But he's a wide open shooter.
Is he
Are we
Paxton?
blaming Giannis?
Is he Steve?
He's a shooter.
Have a 30-point, 20-plus rebound.
Is he Craig Hodges?
I'm blaming Giannis for taking that 20. Hold on.
So
I'm blaming Giannis for taking that 25-foot shot. No, he did too much. He did too much.
Now let me say,
it caused him to lose. He should have took that shot.
We do pay him to take that 25.
Yeah, but
okay.
You shouldn't take it if you know that ain't you, and you got a player that's right there that is them. You give them the ball. That's what you pay them to do too, to make good decisions.
If he would have passed that ball,
if they call the play for you to take the shot, you're supposed to not take it.
Wait, you supposed to make the decision on the floor.
Jermaine, let the scholars handle this, man.
Jermaine, no, I gotta ask you this. So if Giannis, hold on, if Giannis passed the ball to AJ Green and he missed the shot, what you gonna say?
You live.
Why the hell did you pass the ball to AJ Green?
No, sir.
Well,
Now, wait. Now, if he would have passed it to A.J. Jackson in that situation, then I'm saying.
No, we said A.J. Green.
Wait. I'm going to tell you why I wouldn't be mad at Giannis. If he passed it to A.J. Jackson and A.J. Jackson took the shot, I'm like, this ain't A.J. Jackson's spot.
AJ.
But A.J.
Let's talk
Green,
about the A.J. that you talked about.
A.J. Green, I wouldn't mind him. Yes, because he's a shooter. That's why you put him around.
Shot, what you gonna say?
You live with that because that's his shot.
No, we ain't living with that. Because we don't pay him to
but that's his shot.
Winners.
That's his shot. That's just like Giannis coming down.
Game winners.
But that's just like Giannis coming down on transition.
He missed too many shots when there ain't no pressure.
But listen, that's like Giannis coming down on transition and pulling threes. Giannis coming down, pulling threes in transition fast break. That's not his game. So I would be upset at Giannis. Like, why is you pulling transitional threes and that's not your game? I go down there and
burn 5 serve down. If you pass the ball to A.J. Green, we burning that building down.
The views of the opinions expressed on this show do not reflect that of the staff and management of WNOV Current Communications.
All the players he talking about, he always sneak his boy in. Now, you know A.J. Green.
I'm telling you, man, Green is DJ had it too.
First place.
Dude, DJ face when I said it was.
Go ahead, Ken.
Hey, the Bulls won 6 championships, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why? Tell me the main reason why. It's a lot of things that go into winning.
Jordan's at the top of the pyramid. Jordan's at the top. Phil Jackson, but you got Craig Hodges. You got all these other guys that
no, because Jordan did enough.
Right.
That's simple, guys.
Jordan still had to go to the bench.
Right.
Jordan still had to go to the bench, bro.
Kenny, that's a great point. But then everybody else did enough too.
Thank you.
Yeah, Scottie Pippen didn't do nothing.
That's what DJ
Steve
was
Kerr
saying.
didn't do nothing.
You don't do enough. Right. But the other thing too, games come down at the end for the most part, unless they playing that NBA ball and they just getting blowed out. Right. But when the game comes down to winning, then they got to step up and do enough to get the win.
So let me ask you a question, Coach Green. Mm-hmm. You draw up a play at the end of the game for the Bucks. Who's your first option?
Dame.
Who's my first option?
Yeah.
You down by 2.
Dame.
Is Dame available?
Dame.
Okay. All right. Yes, he's available. So who you drawing it up for?
Dame.
Any other questions?
Yeah, okay. But Dave is not available. Who you drawing it up for? A.J. Green.
Well, yeah, because you can use Giannis as a decoy.
We're gonna be referring to you as former Coach Kid Green.
You use Giannis as a decoy.
Giannis may draw the double. He may draw the triple team if he go in the lane.
Giannis as the decoy. You got wide open player.
Different. If you draw a play up for Giannis and he ends up making a pass to another player, that's different from just drawing a play up for AJ Green.
Yeah, because
it's plenty times that
the play would you ever draw a play up?
Jordan.
What scenario?
The pass to other.
No, I'm talking to the wrong person. What scenario would you ever draw a play up at the end of the ball game for AJ Green?
Hey, don't be hating on his love for AJ.
Thank you, man.
I want to hear an answer to this.
All right, I'm going.
But no. Here's the question: If you draw the play up for Giannis
Dr.
at the
King
end,
did not die for you to love AJ Green.
Man, he's a shooter.
if you draw the play up for
The
Giannis,
answer continues to be he's a shooter.
He's a shooter. He's a shooter.
Y'all crazy. Hey, if you draw the play up for Giannis, what's the play gonna be?
To the basket.
Yeah.
To the basket.
Is that what they did?
No, he took a 20-foot, a 25-foot fade away, and that's not his shot. That's why I was saying
they did build a wall.
Well, that's why you passed the ball to the open player, which would have been Green. He was right there. He was right next to him. I'm saying this is why I'm screaming. He should have passed it to Green because that's not even his shot.
And let me say, there was a play where Giannis set a pick for Green and he hit the 3. Remember that?
Because that's his shot.
Yeah. But I'm telling you, dude, he's the 9th option.
And that's the difference.
I get it, but basketball IQ, Keith, is if I'm not in position, like for me, I can shoot and I play down low, right? But it's certain sides of the floor, man, that I'm more efficient in than on the other side. So if I know, man, at this side of the floor, I'm not that efficient
with the bench on it.
With shooting.
So let me ask this question. Let's take it off AJ Green.
Okay.
Let's do Ben Simmons.
Okay.
Ben Simmons playing with the Clippers.
Oh my God.
Okay. If you drop the play for Kawhi Leonard, right?
Right.
Okay. Kawhi Leonard triple team because everybody in the gym know he's gonna get. I bet you Ben Simmons is open under the basket. You think he's gonna throw him the ball?
Ben is gonna run to the locker room because he don't want the ball.
Oh, no, but answer my question. Is he gonna throw him the ball?
Probably not. Because he
if he threw the ball, you don't think the coaches Lou is gonna lose his mind?
Well, I think this is just me.
Don't hurt yourself.
And I'm about to. But I think
he said, I think 3
times. Hit that table.
Hurt himself thinking, huh?
Yeah, because
I'll hit it again.
That could certainly be dangerous for all
I'm
of us.
sitting here looking like Ben Simmons, he'll be standing right underneath the basket and won't shoot the ball. Like he's afraid of the hoop.
I never saw that at a pro level where you had somebody open for a layup
and
they
run
won't
away.
throw him the ball.
Yeah, this cat.
No, he don't run away. They don't throw it to him.
No, but I've seen Ben actually go past a layup and pass it to somebody else because he's afraid of shooting the ball.
All right.
Hey, y'all killing me. I'm gonna leave y'all with this. The thing that makes great players great, they step up and make the right play, whether it's them scoring, whether it's them having 12 points and getting it done or whatever. It ain't about, I don't know. I'm just back to I agree with DJ.
Was Lenny Wilkins coaching the Cavaliers when Jordan hit that shot on Craig Elo? Okay. And you know what Michael Jordan said after that?
Last thing I want y'all to comment on. Why they won't take the ball out of Brunson's hand if they want to beat him? The man is first player of the year.
Can't take it out of his
hand. No, you got to double and make harder somebody beat you.
I would just deny. I wouldn't even help off of him. It's going to be 4-on-4.
Yep.
I wouldn't even. I would just deny.
Or just play box and one.
Speaking of Lenny Wilkins, everybody used to say, everybody in the gym knew Lenny Wilkins was going left. Nobody stopped. I'm just saying. You watch this dude.
Lenny Wilkins is a top 7 player. You can't compare him to Tatum.
They both lefties.
We might lose. The mic ain't gonna be in Brunson's face, so they're gonna be talking to somebody else how they want. All right. We'll talk. Hey, Green, bet.
No, you said lunch. You said, don't let me go through that.
I said Green bet. One was just saying. That's all.
And it ain't you. All right, you listen to Community Voice. Hopefully, Jermaine has his mind like we get off AJ Green. We'll be right back. I just sit up here, just had this moment. That Phoenix Suns team that the Bucks beat had 3 Cams on that team, didn't they? With a Cam Johnson, Cam Payne, and Cam Bridges.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We got the wrong Cam.
Hey, but we almost had Cam Johnson.
Yeah, but we got Cam Payne.
We got a Cam.
Yeah, we had Cam Payne. Remember that little
Man, that was last year.
That's
yeah, but that's what he had. Well,
he with New York now.
Yeah, because we traded him.
He's one of my favorite. Was he in the bubble when he decided he was gonna fight the Lakers all by himself? What do he weigh? 109 pounds.
Oh my
God. Hey, that don't matter.
Caller, welcome to the program.
They say you could whoop a gorilla.
Try it.
Try
I
it.
want to see it.
Caller, welcome
What
to
up,
the program.
Pastor P?
What's happening, man?
What up, DJ?
What up? What up?
What up, Matchbook?
Hey, yabba dabba do.
What up, Simon?
What's happening?
All right. It was his lady. Every day she come in and out of her house. She look over there to her neighbor. This little old man sitting in a rocking chair. He just a grinning and laughing, listening to his rap music, bobbing his head. So one day she went over. She said, "I always notice you over here so happy and everything. Why don't you tell me what's your secret?" He looked at her. He said, "I smoke 3 packs of cigarettes a day. I eat anything I want, and I don't exercise." She said, "Oh, that's fascinating. How old are you?" He said, 25.
That's funny. No, that's a good joke, man.
The dude from the dungeon is brought to you by A&J Liquor, where their special this week is a pint of Thunderbird and a pack of Double Mint gum for 99 cents. And we're going to go live to A&J Liquor. Are you there? We're live at A&J Liquor. We want to catch one of the customers. "Hey, sir, come here. I see you caught the 99-cent special." Get away from me, fool. Man, why you want to be like that? It's your big head. Hat so big you need a prescription hat. Your mama. Your mama. Your mama's a dude. Got some rowdy customers up here. Your big head. When you go to the hat store, you gotta go get a prescription hat. Your hat's so big. You gotta go to the doctor and get a prescription. Your mama. I'm finna call ICE. Hold on once. We're back. We're gonna take it back to the studio from A&J Liquor, and they're located down the street. Man, it's rough over here. I gotta go, man.
All right, man. Appreciate you, man.
He said, "Your mama is a dude."
That's what you should have quit. Well, your mama's a dude.
Hey, we may not can't take no calls from A&J Liquor no more.
Man, they got all
Know
kinds
your
of stuff.
history. Going on over there, man.
Yeah, it's violent.
Yeah.
You gotta know your history, Jack.
Pint of Thunderbird.
Your mama's a dude.
Oh man,
A pint of Thunderbird and a pack of Juicy Fruit for 99 cents.
99 cents.
you gonna need that pack trying to cover that alcohol. Up.
Yeah.
Wow.
Before we go, we had we always got production meet, and he asked a question. Should we care about the diddler? And I said no, but then I prefaced that with like he's still a brother, he's still a black man, but he did wrong. So you can't play the same games that your white counterparts have played. But I sent him a paragraph. There's some things we got to stop lying about. All right.
AJ Green's importance to the Bucks.
Come on, man.
That's definitely.
Come on, man.
But some of the things that we got to stop lying. Number one, I don't care about what you do in your bedroom. Yes, we do. Because once we find out, oh, we gonna wear you out.
I like
so
that,
you
Doc.
care. We
Yeah.
gotta stop lying
like that.
about that. Number 2, I don't care who you sleep with. Yes, we do. Because if you turn out being one of them funny peoples, oh, we gonna be talking crazy about you. So stop lying about that. And then the last one,
comedians.
The last one is, oh, I don't care about your past. Yes, we do.
Oh, yeah.
We care about the past, present, and the future. So some things we just gotta stop lying about, man. Yes,
You know what,
you
DJ?
do care about that.
For the
you do
first
care.
time on a Friday, bro, I do have to say I agree with you with that right there, bro. Because we do say, man, I don't care who you sleep with, but if you find out that they slept with such, you be like, like you tearing it off. Or I don't care nothing about your past. Like you could have had, whatever. But then
when you
she
go
tell
out,
you,
no, when you go out, everybody saying what up to her,
yeah,
and not you.
And then you find out, oh, well, yeah, I used to have a. Oh no! So now you feel some kind of way.
You care.
My third son is by him. The one my mama got.
Oh yeah, yeah, Doc. You out in traffic with her, like.
And then the next dude, like, my second son by him. The one my auntie got.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we just gotta stop lying, man. Just stop them lies.
I'm gonna
TJ on the road.
I'm gonna depart. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I don't really care. I haven't really talked much about Diddy.
Because we don't need to.
And the only reason I talked about him was from the whole criminal thing. But I'm like this, man. Your bedroom is your sanctuary. How you get your freak on, who you get your freak on, that's between you and them.
But when it come out, then you like.
But this is the thing that when it comes
like,
out.
Wow, why did I think of that?
See, you care. You creative. See?
I mean, I wouldn't say that because I've thought about it, but I'm like, I wouldn't do that ignorant stuff. Like some of the stuff,
some of the stuff that they talked about is unrepeatable.
Yeah,
I would never repeat that.
Do, like, come on.
But what I'm saying is,
what they talking about
in the real world, especially, and this is the thing, and I think that Michelle was right on point. What we focus on, like for example, many people don't have problems with gay people. They have a problem with gay people. They have a problem with how gay people are having sex. That's what people will focus on.
But
I'm just saying that is if I ask the question, if I ask the question, should you be able to love whomever you want to love? Everybody go, yeah, sure. But what if it's male and male? Should you be able to love? Yeah, sure. What about how they having sex? Now wait a minute. So I mean, I think
I don't even think it's about that.
That
right?
is not true, Jermaine. Come on, man.
What I feel is that when
it's not only
when
one
people
way.
get to act in a certain type of way.
I'm saying it's only.
That's what I think.
So it's only one, like you can't.
Yeah,
like you can't scissor or none of that type stuff. So
I don't think nobody. I think it's how people get to acting outwardly. Like they don't. Like. You don't have to move around with all that. You know what I'm saying? Just how
I think it's more of
how they just be acting.
I mean,
I think it's more of birds of a feather
just
flock
don't try
together.
to impose that upon me.
Yeah,
I think it's more of the birds of a feather flock together type thing. So if we out in public kicking it and you're just flamboyant, you just out there,
right? That's what people
that's
got an issue with.
Yeah,
that's what people got an issue.
You do, but I also have the right not to be around it.
You do, but what I'm saying is that we have the right to express ourselves. How
right
now? Look, I don't. This might surprise you, Jermaine. There was somebody who was tripping on that fur coat in that Volvo.
I'm sure they was.
The Saab, okay,
with rims on it, man.
They going on. This dude got a fur coat. I mean, so how you express your truth,
but
how you live your you. I wish we lived in a world where it didn't matter. My friend, she was talking about her son. Her daughter transitioned, now is a male.
Okay.
She said, "I love my child. That's not the issue.
Right.
The issue is how people are going to react and the things that they're going to say to my child. That concerns me as a parent. But I just think that to be able to, and I said it yesterday, we so screwed up sexually in this country that it is like some of the most. I heard this brother. I was really surprised at this, and I'm only making a comment on this because this is public, so this is not anything private. I was really surprised at the level of homophobia that I experienced watching people at this particular conference from men. You know what? Our issues for black men, yeah, gay is a small part of it, but the issue for many of us as black men is how willing are we to accept responsibility for our behavior? And so then we'll jump on gay people for whatever reasons, right? And I'm saying that I work with guys every day where I have to remind them you have a responsibility to take care of your family, okay? And I said this, I have been doing this for all my life. I have yet to hear a fire and brimstone message about divorce. I haven't heard it. Now, it could be out there, but I haven't heard it. But I have heard gay people condemned to hell. People will do it, and we feel comfortable with it.
What you talking about? The Catholics don't rock with divorce.
Wait. I think it's more of when they're preaching it. They're preaching from the word of God, and the word of God doesn't say a divorce would send you to hell, but it does say homosexuality will.
No, it didn't say it. It didn't say you go to hell. That's not what
it says.
It's called an abomination.
Shall not inherit the kingdom of God. If you go to that scripture, I can actually.
Did Jesus talk about divorce?
He did.
Yeah.
And was he supportive of divorce?
No, he's outside of infidelity and violence.
Wait a minute. So Jesus said this, and can I do this? I'm disagreeing with Jesus when it comes to divorce, only because of now how divorce happens. All I'm saying is, man, that
Jesus was saying you should know who you're marrying. Like
exactly.
it go into a whole.
No, Jesus says that you just can't walk away from the responsibility based on the position of women at that time. Men would walk away. That means women are forced to prostitution. Women are forced into abusive relationships.
Right.
That
they didn't have
piece
any
of
rights.
They didn't have any rights, and so it's always context. But
right
after a while, we want to look. This election, everybody talked about the economy. But this is a poll that really blew my mind. Do you know the only poll that Donald Trump is over 50%? What? Can you tell me the only area he's over 50%?
What, black men?
What? Trans.
I don't know.
Trans. Not the economy, not even his immigration. He's going underwater with that. But 53% of Americans support his position on trans and trans athletes.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah.
So
Yeah.
So it is because when we sit up and have
That's
a
not
conversation,
the reason why he won the election.
Well,
no, but it was one of those factors.
Well, yeah, it sure was, because they were saying that
we spent a lot of time talking about trans, and they're like point,
and they said that
3% of the population.
She was trying to turn the kids gay. That was what people were saying.
And we had to pay dollars.
And the brother that they had speaking, he goes all over the country. And here's the other thing. I do believe that books should be age appropriate. I do not believe in book banning. Your child reading about gay people will not make your child gay.
It might.
It'll
pique your interest. It'll pique your interest. No, because if
natural drive is your natural
that's
drive.
Not true, Keith.
That is true.
If I pick up a
works, man.
If I haven't been exposed to pornographic or anything sexual, and I pick that book up and I start reading that, that's going to intrigue something. That's going to intrigue my mind to, what is this about? Let me see what this is about. So that's opening up your soul to something that you haven't even you haven't even been exposed to.
How we even get on this, man?
Keep starting.
Because you start talking about funny people. No, I was responding to you talking about funny people.
No, yeah, I was saying that we just got to stop lying. All right. You say you don't care. You do care.
That's what it comes down to. Huh?
Yeah.
Well, let me think.
Yeah, man. We out here before the phone lines, Lord.
Let me thank DJ. Debo, thank you.
Happy birthday, mama.
Happy birthday, Edith.
Love you.
Jermaine, thank you. As always, man. Appreciate you, man. And you have lunch with AJ today?
Yeah, man. Me and AJ gonna talk about him coming back to the Bucks, and hopefully, the Bucks.
He's AJ.
That's my guy, man. I'm telling you, man. Y'all gonna. Yeah.
Good Lord Willow. No. Good Lord Willow Creek don't ride. On Monday, y'all have a safe weekend and go from this place in peace.